Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today I bank off and joined once again by Fluff.
What's going on, beautiful people?
And today we got the got a variety of cards released today, and they're kind of doing the double whammy where we're getting practically the entire archetypes at a time from the looks of it. So we're gonna kind of go over it. Like always, just buttons, so if you click them, they're there for a reason. But we're gonna start with the leader, which is the red leader we got, which is Son Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks. When this card attacks, you draw one card. Cool, standard leader stuff. The awakens when your life is 4 or less, or you have 2 or more energy and a Son Goku, Vegeta, or Trunks future card, all red, with EX Evolve in play. You may draw one card, switch up to one of your energy active mode, and add cards from your life to your hand. So you have 6 left. Pretty simple to get out of. The 1-drops are, we'll go to those later, but 1 cost to play, and then the Evolve is another 1 cost, I think, to evolve on top of it. Yep. So you can do this on turn 2 if you're playing against a deck that's not really giving you heavy swings in. On the Awaken, the auto changes from being a draw 1 to now you discard 1 red Saiyan card from your hand. When this card attacks, you draw 2 cards. Activate main once a turn. If you have 3 or more mono red energy, play up to 1 Son Goku, Vegeta, or Trunks future card, all red, with an energy cost of 1 from your drop if its skills negate it for the turn in rest mode. At the end of your turn, you place that card in your drop area. So this is where it kind of gets a little bit tricky. You need to play around that ability by using the EX Evolves, but before we go in it, we're going to kind of touch base with Z Awaken. If your life is 3 or less, you place up to 3 of your Z energies under your leader, red, Son Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks future. 1 energy to do this. The card has double strike. When this card attacks, for each non-leader card under this card, it gets plus 10,000 power, initially making the leader off the bat a 45 swing double strike, which is just amazing. But you do need to awaken first because this auto is when this card attacks. And then secondary auto is place all non-leader cards from under this card in their owner's drop area. At the end of your turn, choose all of your opponent's battle cards. They get minus 10,000 power for the turn. For each card placed in the drop by this skill, remove this card from game. Doesn't get past barrier, but still could be a potential board wipe. Thoughts?
I actually really like this leader. You know, the discard 1, draw 2 on the Awaken side is incredibly strong. And then on your Z leader, you're foregoing that ability to awaken or to draw on swing, but you're gaining a massive double strike. And then this goes away. So this could be a way to pressure the game. It could be a way to clear a massive threat on the field. It could do a number of different things that would just all around help you. And I really like the versatility of this Z Awaken side. You know, you're going to minus everything 10k per card underneath. Plus, you'll have a big number on your swing plus double strike. Really good.
The 1-drops the card likes to play are the 3 Son Goku at the ready, Vegeta at the ready, and Trunks at the ready. They each have their own unique way of playing them, which is very similar. So if we go for the Goku, limit 1, activate main. If your leader is red Son Goku, Vegeta, Trunks future card, and you have a Vegeta or Trunks card, both red and with EX Evolve in play, play this card from your hand in rest mode. At the end of your turn, you place this card in your own drop area. Like I said, they all have that similar ability, just they change the keywords. Where for Trunks it's Vegeta and Goku, and for Vegeta it's Trunks and Trunks or Goku. So as long as you have a 3-drop on board, you're good to go. When the Goku is played, look up top 5 cards for your deck, add up to 1 red Saiyan card with energy cost 4 or less among them to your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. The Vegetas, when this card is played, you add to 1 Son Goku, Vegeta, or Trunks card, all red. Energy cost 3 in EX Evolve from your drop to your hand, so it allows you to cycle things up if you're discarding cards for your leader's effect. And the Trunk just draws you 1 card.
Yeah, I you know, the Trunks and the Goku are going to be like automatic 4-ofs in the deck. The Vegeta's not really going to come to be useful until later stages of the game when you might have your 3-drops already in the drop area to start cycling them. Unless like you're going to do something like combo them off or discard them off the leader's draw effect once you're awakened. So I can see this Vegeta not necessarily being a 4-of in the deck, maybe like a 3-of. But other than that, I really like these, especially when you consider the leader on the backside is going to play 1 for free. We have the Gogeta Unison, which is just going to play these guys out for free. They play themselves out for free if you have the counterparts on the field. So I could easily see that these are a potential to spam the field with these guys.
And like you said, hands down, I do agree that Vegeta is going to be definitely key for sure turn 3 and after, possibly turn 2 as a draw 3 for you. Or not for the card alone, but the interaction between the leader and this card is adding 3 cards to your hand, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think net 2 cards there, but still. So, the engine itself in the deck has the 3 drops. So we have SS Vegeta Evolve Offensive, SS Son Goku, and SS Trunks. All of them have a very similar activate main, where the Trunks activate main, 1 red. If you have a Son Goku or Vegeta card, both red, energy cost of 3, EX Evolve, play this card in your hand. So instead of the free ability of the 1 drops, the 3 drops can play themselves for just 1 energy, as long as you have one or the other cards on the board. Same, but they have a different autos. So Vegeta, when this card is played by an evolved skill, draw 1 card, switch this card to active mode. Auto, when this card attacks, place it in the owner's drop area at the end of the turn. When this card is placed in your drop area by the skill, add to 1 Son Goku or Trunks card, both red, with energy cost of 3, EX Evolve from your drop to your hand. Once again, it goes very well with the leaders. Discard a red Saiyan, so you discard a red Saiyan, play the Vegeta, blah blah blah, bring it back pretty much. Goku, same thing, draw 1, resend this card to active mode. When this card attacks you to one of your opponent's battle cards, it gets minus 15,000 power for the turn. That one's not leader lock, so if you could put this in another deck, that works out great. And then the Trunks has blocker. Once again, when this card is played, by evolve skill, draw 1, switch this card to active mode. At the end of your turn, switch this card to active mode again. So this way you get 19k swing and a blocker on your following turn.
Go back to the Vegeta real quick. Did he have a keyword skill on him? Was he double strike or crit? No, just kind of a boy. I kind of like these. I don't know if these cards are going to be doing enough to put them past the place where Sen Shenron and Gogeta GT is right now. I don't know if these cards are going to inherently do enough by themselves. They're 1 energy to put on the field. They're 19,000 bodies, which is huge, especially when you consider defensively that your opponent would have to combo 1 on the leader just to try to get over one of these guys. But I just don't know if it's going to be enough to kind of handle the red that we're seeing right now. It could. But as of right now, just kind of reading the effects, while I like them, especially when you play them off the evolved skills, you're going to draw 1, switch them to active mode. So a lot of the skills that are playing the 1 drops are playing them in rest mode. You're evolving, switching them to active mode, drawing 1 card. That is incredibly powerful, affording you a 19,000 swing after it. But none of these are double strike. None of these are crit. And when you look at the stuff that like Sen Shenron has, for example, or Gogeta, a lot of those are 1 energy for a double strike, 1 energy for a crit, 1 energy for a double strike that KOs something. Like, so we'll see.
So all these cards, interactions are great. Trunks is one you kind of want to keep on the board the most, but for 1 additional energy, you can play the 4 drop from either the 1 drops or even the 3 drops we saw. So activate main for 1 red energy, choose 1 red Saiyan card in your battle area. Play this card from your hand, place the chosen card underneath it. Auto, place 1 card from underneath this card in its owner's drop. When this card attacks, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 30,000 power for the turn. That's actually pretty fantastic, especially for the fact that after you initially paid 1 energy to get a swing out there that negative card by 15, such as the Goku, then you turn around, pay 1 more energy, swing up this card, and neg another card by 30,000. So that interaction allows you to potentially neg out 2 cards, which is pretty nice for 2 energy.
Well, and this is a great way to cycle 1 of your 3 drops to the drop area as well. Like if you didn't have 1 in hand to discard off leader effect, but you've got a Vegeta that you're going to be playing out, get this guy off, use its effect, minus something 30,000. You just place your 3 drop in the drop area. Vegeta plays, you repick up that 3 drop, and you go up the evolve chain again. And to note, nothing about this is leader locked to the Trunks Jitaku archetype, Trio Sans, whatever we're going to end up calling this. Nothing about this card is locked, so this could slot in really well in other decks where it just got to take a red Saiyan and place it under it. I really like that.
Going into a Z battle card real quick, Son Gohan at the ready. It's a blocker. It has a permit though. When your red Saiyan cards have energy cost of 3, and evolve, gain blocker, which is fantastic. At the end of your turn, choose one of your red Saiyan cards to evolve, switch it to active mode, which really goes great with the Trunks. So if you were to play Trunks because you have a Vegeta or Goku already on board, then you have potentially 2 blockers during your opponent's crackback. Now, granted, they don't have barriers, so they're not protected from negging or removing effects, but against the right deck, that is at least 2 attacks that you're stopping from hitting your leader. And actually 3 attacks because you have this 1 drop on the board as well. Activate main once per turn. If your leader card is Red Son Goku Vegeta Trunks Future card, during your opponent's next turn, when one of your Red Saiyan cards with energy cost of 3 and evolve is placed in the drop area, add it to your Z energy. Add it to your Z energy from your drop, which goes really well. So you turn around, you block one of those cards that you don't need to worry about, and then you just put that in your Z energy to fuel future plays.
Yeah, this Gohan is huge. Having a blocker that is 19k doesn't seem like it's that much, but it's actually quite relevant. It really de-incentivizes your opponent from investing resources on their leader swing to try to take care of it. And even being at 19k means that negging effects, unless you have like just the sweet spot in your hand, is going to be pretty difficult for your opponent to just willy-nilly neg them off. So I do really like that this Gohan is giving the Trunks and the Vegeta particularly blocker effects, and then also restanding one on top of the Trunks, inherently having blocker, inherently restanding himself at the end of the turn. So I think it's going to create and generate a very defensive package as well.
And keep in mind, this Activate Main also is one of the few cards in the game that adds a continuous effect outside of a player's turn, or during their turn, because it's Activate Main during your opponent's next turn when one of your red Saiyan cards. So it's not just the first one, you could literally block with 2 cards and put both those 2 cards into your your Z energy to set up your next play. So yeah. Going over the kind of, I guess, the boss monster of this deck when got released first thing in the morning. So SS Son Goku, Spirit Bomb absorbs. Triple Strike Barrier, activate main for 3 energy if your leader card's red if your leader card is red Saiyan, there we go. Card, and you choose 5 Son Goku, Youth, Vegeta, Trunks Future, Piccolo, and or Krillin cards, all red in your drop. Place the cards from your hand. Play this card from your hand and then place the chosen cards underneath it. Activate battle, limit 1. Place 5 cards under this card in the owner's drop area. When this card gains 10,000 power for the turn, choose all of your opponent's battle cards. They get minus 20,000 power for the turn. And at the end of the turn, place this card in its owner's drop and play up to 1 Red Son Goku with energy cost of 1 from your drop. So, I mean, it has barriers protected. You do need the attack to go off to do the activate battle, but potentially can be a 40k triple strike that negs out cards for 20k. Now, granted, if your opponent blocks it, okay, well, you just lost out on a 20k, or if they negate it, you just have to hold on to this card for the following turn.
Almost a card that I would have expected to be printed with a leader that has burst on it. Just because having all 5 of, what was it? Son, Gohan, Youth, Vegeta, Trunks, Future, Piccolo, and Krillin in your drop area.
It doesn't have to be 5 uniques. So it could be like 5 Gokus. It could be 5 Vegetas. It could be 5 Trunks.
Oh, it could be 5. Okay. So that's not as restrictive then. So it's just got to have 5 targets to place under itself. Okay. Never mind then. 3 energy in red is still really expensive when you look at what decks that are spending 5 or 3 energy on right now. Does this card hang in there? 3 energy for a triple strike 40,000 that negs everything 20k is pretty strong in its own right. I don't want to take anything away from this card because I think this card has the potential to be pretty good. Just does it stand up to what we're seeing currently for 3 energy?
And now just kind of cleaning things up, we have the Piccolo at the ready. Blocker, this card gets minus 10,000 power during your turn and gains barrier during your opponent's turn, which is very weird. So it's a 10k when you play it, and it has barrier in your opponent's turn, but it is a 20k blocker. But auto limit 1 red energy. If your leader card is red, the trio, and your opponent has 2 or more energy, when you place a red Saiyan card with energy cost of 3 and EX evolve from your battle area in a drop, play this card from your hand. Auto once per turn, when this card activates blocker, switch it to active mode, and at the end of the turn, place it in the owner's drop area. So initially, if you establish the Gohan at the ready, then you block with one of the 3-drop Saiyans. It goes to drop, you pay 1 energy, play the Piccolo. Now, you potentially stop 2 more attacks. So this deck can be a very defensive deck without having to worry about using extra cards to stop attacks. And when it gets played, unless your opponent has a way to counterplay it from coming into play, it's going to hit play and it's going to stay in play, which is fantastic.
The first time I read this Piccolo, I didn't like it. And then kind of revisiting it after visiting the entirety of the archetype as a whole, I actually really do like this Piccolo. I think this Piccolo is easily going to be a 2 to 3 of included. You got to think of it as it's essentially eating upwards of 2 attacks itself, and it's huge. I mean, 20,000 blocker is fantastic.
Now, I will say for 1 energy for a 2 times blocker, like some decks or some matchups, your opponent go, okay, cool, he played that Piccolo, wasted energy on that one. You know what? I'll stop attacking. Okay, it's going to go away. You attack it 1 time, so it can activate blocker to proc this auto, and now it's going to be gone. So unless your opponent swings again, this Piccolo's gone. So this will definitely be good for when you know your opponent's going for the end game.
If my opponent just decided to not swing into me again because I played this Piccolo, I would consider that a win.
No, for sure.
I really do like that Piccolo on further reading. I like how defensive this engine is going to be.
Because we get skilllesses, we got the Son Gohan, 2 energy, 20k. And then we got the Krillin at the Ray, which is actually a very interesting card. So Auto, once per turn, if it's your opponent's turn, when your opponent plays a battle card of 15,000 power or more, look up the top 5. Look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck. Add up to 1 red Saiyan card energy cost of 5 or less among them to your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. It's a 1-drop that's hitting the board. It's a 4K. You're not going to swing with it. You're just going to play it, leave it in active mode, potentially turn 1 if you can. So as soon as your opponent plays a card, if it happened to be 15k or more, you get to draw, look at the top 5 cards, add a card to your hand. This is one of those cards where if your opponent wants to hit it, sure, thank you for wasting one of your cards on a 1-drop. It means absolutely nothing in the long run, except for just the chance of getting a card to my hand. And if your opponent wants to play around it and not want to give you cards to your hand, then it works out in your favor as well. They're not playing battle cards.
This is one of those cards, you read the effect, and immediately you think to yourself, this card should have had barrier. This is one of those cards to me that just should have had barrier.
If it had barrier, it would have to cost 2.
I don't know.
In my estimate, because you're potentially, especially once you get to turn 2 and further, your opponent, especially with Z battle cards now, your opponent will always be playing cards of 15k or more, most likely. So that just gives more drawage into a deck. And we've already seen what a deck could do when it gives the incredible amount of drawing, which it doesn't need.
I don't see this Krillin getting played. Because the deck is already inundated with 1-drops. Like, you're already playing between 10 and 12 1-drops, most likely, in the Goku Trunks and Vegeta future. Or, the Goku Trunks and Vegeta. So I don't know that the deck can afford to waste a turn, especially like something on turn 1 or turn 2, when their awaken condition is to have a 3-cost with an evolve skill on the field. I don't know that you can afford to play this card. And playing a 1-drop that's not exactly Crown of Retribution or Poutine or something like that. And I don't even think Poutine's a 1-drop. Poutine's like a 3-drop. But you know, playing a 1-drop that is not Crown of Retribution late game does not feel good.
And at the very end, we got a extra card. Spirit Bomb Unleash. Activate main. Limit 1. If a red Son Goku Vegeta Trunks future leader is under your Z leader, choose up to one of your red Son Goku Z leaders, and it gets plus 30,000 power and crit for the turn. So let's kind of backtrack real quick. This is an activate main extra card for 2 energy. If you need to point that out real quick as well. But if we were to backtrack to the Z leader, which you're likely to be 3 or less to bring out, for 1 red
is
energy,
inherent double strike.
Inherent double strike, and 45,000 because
45,000, yeah.
Because you put 3 cards underneath it, and then it gains 10k for each one. So initially, for 3 energy, and if you can't do, I mean, granted, you're not playing that extra card for a kill turn. You're playing extra card because it's a plus 30k combo, pretty much. And it's not a combo card, so it's not getting knocked out by combo killers. So for 3 energy in 1 turn, potentially, if your opponent doesn't negate the leader attack, you're getting that leader up to 75,000 double strike crit. I mean, depending on the situation, the crit might not be necessary, but still.
I see this card being held back by the fact that it's activate main. If it was activate battle,
yeah, sorry, it is activate main.
This card would have been 1,000 times better. Because I could just see a world where you put this on your leader, you spent 3 energy getting your leader Z awakened, you swing, your opponent negates. What else you doing for the rest of the turn now?
Yeah,
not much.
I misread that. Yeah, that's actually.
I don't see this card seeing maybe at like a 1 of in the deck just to see it if you're set up to do it, but.
And if we get some form of counter for red, like just pure red.
I don't see that, but it could happen.
We don't need that.
We don't need that.
So those are kind of the cards that were released on Friday. I'm not really sure when this video is going up, but I mean, when it goes up, got it going. Yeah, I think that's it. That's the first look at red. I agree with a lot of people. We kind of want to see other colors but red right now because we're seeing red everywhere. But nonetheless, I think the deck can be good. The question is how Fluff had mentioned earlier. When you're playing set 18, does this hold anything to the set 18 leaders? I don't think so. But hey, I'm glad that we're getting some newer stuff soon. Fluff, will you lead us out?
I think that the fact that we're getting stuff like this is a tell that they plan on doing something against the current state of red by the introduction of the next set, at least. So, as always, read your cards, know your plays, let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to, and always fluff out.